So Qwot-em, thanks for your time to understand and learn about Qwot-em, platform for social direct-to-consumer products. So what is real-time content? Kamila Harris got in a debate with Joe Biden in June of this year. And Joe Biden, in his past when he was a senator, voted to fund a busing program. She used that busing program and stated, "I was that little girl." Her campaign took advantage of that, and that led to a $2 million slew of sales in 24 hours, within 3 hours of that event. And then flying back, 2011, Charlie Sheen had, some could argue, a mental breakdown, started making statements like Tiger Blood, winning, Warlock.
Winning.
And I happen to head up biz dev at a company called Cafe Press, crowdsourced content, and across 2,000 stores that we were hosting, that generated $5 million in sales in 7 days. So what's the problem? All of those instances are anomalies. They are not the standard. When something starts to trend, it takes anywhere from 12 to 72 hours to create content. The trending news cycle is 72 hours. So if you don't have the content out by the time it's no longer relevant, or before it's no longer relevant, then you're not going to get the sales. So we've fixed that problem. So our solution is automation. And what do I mean by that? So social media creates content faster than anybody can truly consume it. We have built a process to pull content from social media in real time, plugging into not just the APIs, but we also are able to scrape the front end. That in turn allows for people to actually augment trending content onto physical merchandise. So they can buy the product, they can share the product, and they can sell the product and make some money. So why should you care? Well, the market's vast and it's massively fragmented. The average order size for trending content or for customized merch is about $72. And that's an average from Custom Ink, Cafe Press, Zazzle, and Redbubble. If you just look at the US presidential election, which is we're launching in politics, but we'll launch into other categories as well as we grow. The US presidential election, non-campaign merch every 4 years is $1 billion event. And then if you bump into how big is the customization space, it's immense. Apparel, wall art, stickers, home decor, and everything in between is over $145 billion market. So we have a working prototype. It's pretty cool. The design functionality works. If you were to buy something, it would come from either Printful or Scalable Press right now. And we're launching with just shirts because that's a $10 billion, customized shirts all by itself is a $10 billion market. So we figured we'd test in what the number one most common personalized item is, which is t-shirts, so we could figure out our product market fit. We will then launch all apparel because we built our designer intelligently so it can actually be expanded upon for any substrate, which is something you can print on. But that's not all we're going to be monetizing. So there's also licensing. We are able to take content that is selling and trending and actually go to Hot Topic and other brick and mortars, Costco, Target, etc., and license the product. That's something that our team has done before. There's also the data. So social commerce sites or just social networks in general track likes, engagement, shareability, conversions, right? Click-throughs. We also track how long are they spending on the design? How deep does the affiliate sales go? Are they interested in things that are directly pro or con in the design process? We're able to track all of that. In addition to that, we also track, or not track, but we consume, which way are they leaning, and then can also sell them digital products that they can then replicate on their own through the actual web app. We are not an app. It is a web-based platform, so we don't compete with other apps on your phone. Manufacturing. Printing in general on things has become a commoditized market. This wasn't possible 2 years ago. Most print-on-demand companies have APIs built in. Currently, we're plugged in, as I mentioned before, Printful and Scalable Press. So if somebody goes on in Seattle and they decide to buy something from our platform, it'll go to the closest manufacturing partner. We're currently plugged into 2, but we're working to plug into another 15. This is a beautiful process. There's no inventory. You don't have to worry about, oh, do I have enough in stock of this particular image? Because you never know what's going to sell. I mentioned before Charlie Sheen. That was 2,000 stores. That was almost, I think it was 4,900 images, selling just 4 to 15 shirts a piece. High margins, the more we do, the lower the margins go. It's kind of like Taco Bell dictating pricing with tortillas, who they purchase tortillas from. And it's super fast fulfillment. We fulfill within 3 days, sometimes 5, but usually 3. As soon as we have all 15 locations up, it will be 2 day. Very similar to Prime. So the competitive space is super interesting. Tweet mugs, frame tweet, they're pulling real-time content, but they're only doing single items, and they are not allowing for customers to edit, and they don't have an affiliate program. Cafe Press, Redbubble, Zazzle are based on user-generated content. So they have blanks that you can purchase, and then they host the store for you. Shutterfly and Simpress are more of like a B2B solution. So if you want business cards or you want a banner, that's where you go. The team. So I'm John. Hi. I have headed up business development at a number of companies. Cafe Press, I was there for a number of years and built a $60 million channel there. Tilt and Celery were pre-sale engines for product. Did north of $200 million in pre-sales combined on those 2 companies. Eric Ludwig has headed up marketing at NASA, Custom Ink, AOL. At AOL, he did the spin out for TMZ, so he's uniquely qualified for real-time content. He was also the CMO at Rosetta Stone and VeriSign. Peter Brown is our CTO. He was responsible, was responsible for the creation and development of VentureBeat's website. He also launched his own company and was accredited for one of the companies to watch by Forbes, which was a franchise marketing platform. And Ron is responsible for, he's a full stack developer, but also a designer, and was responsible for the Halls app, which I was head of strategy at their company, and I took them post-rev, and he was responsible for making sure that all the bells and whistles on the apps worked. Our advisory team is pretty impressive. David Gross has launched 2 startups and sold them both, successful exits, and all in the customization space. Jonathan Speed has been with, I believe, 8 companies, several of which went through the IPO process, and is currently advising 6 startups and is currently a VC for Brown University. Dan Dillamarter and I worked together at Cafe Press for a number of years. He was my counterpart in Louisville. So whenever we went to launch a product or I had a harebrained idea to try to figure out a new channel, Dan was my sounding board and implementation expert. His expertise is substantial because he actually built the API for Humana for Medicare, and last year $5 billion went through it. So his expertise in API vetting is substantial. David McCaleb is a veteran of Amazon, Intel, HDS, which is a Lewis Borders company, and is currently starting his own startup that was inspired from Qwot-em, looking to provide real-time production. So he's currently working on same-day delivery up in a Skunkworks facility that's up in Portland right now, and they just finished their round of $1 million. So what are we going to do with the money? 250K gets us to profitability, so post-rev. 850K will carry us through the election. We most likely go start a seed round Q1, Q2, and that will allow us to carry through the next 2 years. We're looking for a $1.1 million investment in the form of a convertible note with a $4.4 million cap at this time. We have 75K closed, 200K verbal at this time, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Any questions?